Hey everybody, welcome back to WireDogSec. Hopefully you're all having an awesome day today and ready to learn something from this video. But before we get into it, be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you're new here, hit that like button, comment below on your thoughts and opinions, share the video, all that good stuff. Helps out the channel, helps get the good word out there, etc., etc. All right, let's dive in here. We're going to take a look at a couple of articles and information and such when it comes to taxes, because it is tax season. And as you probably already know, tax season is prime for scammers. And these scammers, of course, want to use or steal valuable information from you in order to obtain your tax refund so they can use it for whatever they want to. Basically, they want to steal money from you. All right, this article is from CNBC. How to protect yourself from tax fraud and scams, according to cybersecurity experts. Key points here. Last year, there were close to 8 million reports of suspicious activity related to income tax filing and identity theft. More than 90% of tax refunds or returns were filed online last year, and phone, email, and text scams always increase during tax season. There are several important cybersecurity steps filers should take in advance of using tax prep software or working with an accountant who are also targets of scammers. And you can use this for security awareness training when it comes to your users at your organization. Maybe they forgot about all these scammers and phishing emails targeting victims in order to get a hold of that valuable information they can use to steal their tax refund and conduct other identity theft activities. But let's continue on here. Tax season has begun, and this typically comes with a big uptick in tax-related scams. There were approximately 7.8 million reports of such activities in 2022. Okay, we already know about that. Let's see what it says here. U.S. consumers lost more than 5.8 billion to fraud in 2021, a 70% increase from the year before, according to the FTC. Filing on with online filing now the norm, IRS said 92% of tax returns last year were filed electronically. Cybersecurity is more important than ever, of course. Popular tax filing platforms such as TurboTax, H&R Block, Tax Act, Invest in Security, and have to follow regulatory requirements around it. The big tax prep companies in the U.S. have to go through a compliance and audit process to be able to store data, according to Nicholas Donarski, Chief Technology Officer and co-founder of blockchain technology firm ORE, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Right. As always, make sure to pick a reputable tax platform, not just the cheapest one. And that goes without saying. A lot of this stuff is just common sense. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. If someone's saying that, hey, I'm from the IRS and you need to give me all this information, or I'm from some kind of law enforcement agency, if you don't pay up and do all this and that, you're going to jail. Well, for one, IRS is never going to call you and say something like that. They're probably not going to ever call you at all. All right, if the IRS needs something for you, they're going to do it through snail mail via the traditional mail. They're going to send you a letter in the mail. Say, hey, you have been audited, and here's all the discrepancies or whatever. You need to provide evidence or blah blah blah. Whatever they do, they're going to do it that way through mail. All right. Use secure passwords and multi-factor authentication, and that is cybersecurity best practice. Make sure to use strong passwords. The longer the password is, the stronger the password is going to be. And of course, multi-factor authentication or two-factor authentication. Make sure to use good factors or phishing-resistant factors when it comes to that. All right. Now, if you're going to use those push notifications, make sure it's an actual legitimate request from yourself. All right, there's been a lot of attackers out there using something called MFA fatigue, where they keep trying to authenticate via your account and they'll send all these notifications to your push notifications to your smart mobile device or whatever. And people get tired of that. So eventually you're going to click OK just to get rid of the notifications to stop them from coming. Well, that's a bad idea because now you've let the attacker into your accounts and now they can do whatever they want. Okay, cybersecurity experts suggest using a password manager, which is another cybersecurity best practice. There's a lot of free password managers out there. There's KeePass, which I use personally, and it's worked pretty good. I've used it for years. Okay, let's continuing on. File taxes promptly before someone else impersonates you, and that's absolutely true. As soon as you get your W-2 information in and other applicable tax items, like say you got investments and such like that, well, you're going to need to get those tax forms as well. Make sure you get everything situated, right? And do not wait. As soon as you get that stuff in, be sure to go to your accountant or go down to H&R Block or do it yourself on TurboTax or something like that and submit that request. Because if you don't, then someone else is going to do it for you. Then when you go in and try to do it, they're going to get some kind of alert or notification like, hey, someone's already filed in your name. You're going to be like, oh no, right? You're going to be out of luck. Tax filing fraud is similar to many unemployment scams during the pandemic when scammers filed in other people's names to steal benefits. With tax return scammers file a false return with fraudulent data and collect the refund, which I've already explained that. Let's see here. It helps to either identify typos in your social security number that could delay your refund or alert you to possible pre-existing identity theft, said Mark Yeager, Vice President of Tax Development at Tax Act. See, Tax Act said its platform notified customers in case another return was filed using the same social security number, even if the initial filing was through a different software provider. So that could be a good platform to use Tax Act. I've never heard of it or used it, so it could be something you could use to file your own taxes. Another layer of protection is to get an identity protection PIN, which prevents someone else from filing a tax return using your social security number and individual taxpayer identification number. That sounds like a good idea. IRS sends new PINs to victims of tax-related theft every year. Okay, let's continue on. Be alert for scam emails, texts, and calls. And that's the usual when it comes to scammers. You're going to send you these smishing messages, which are phishing messages in the form of text messages. It's going to say, hey, maybe you got your tax info here. Hey, here's a W-2. Click this link to download it. I believe I got one the other day that said something on the lines of that. Click this and you click that link and it's going to take you to a phishing page, or it's going to download some kind of malicious software on your device. The next thing you know, you're getting owned. And of course, back to the calls, IRS is not going to call you in regards to this. And if emails, of course, relates to phishing. I mean, it works the same way. They're going to send you something saying, hey, I'm from the IRS, and if you don't do this or that, then you're going to go to jail. You see an increase in number of attacks. They use that emotional response, that fear, that we call it in the industry FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. What I just said, they play on your fears to get you to do something that you shouldn't be doing. On to what's this year, the arrival of ChatGPT. That's a hot topic in cybersecurity. Make sure to look up ChatGPT if you don't know what it is, which can make scam messages harder to detect. Poor spelling or grammar and funky fonts or graphics have been common giveaways in past years, but the use of artificial intelligence like ChatGPT can change that factor. Cybersecurity experts said that the advice is still the same to ward off fraudsters. Don't click on any links. If there's any doubt, go to a site you know to be legit and to check your tax filings, bank or credit card account, or call official listed or call the official listed sorry, or call the official number listed on the back of a card of the official website, right? Another good practice is to do that. Install tax prep software updates, and that's with any type of software you got on your machine. Make sure it's up to date, because if it's not, then there could be some kind of vulnerability out there that's publicly available that these bad guys will look up, and then maybe there's an exploit for it, or maybe they'll build an exploit for it and then end up hacking your device. Vet your accountant's cybersecurity practices. This is a new one for me. So not all electronic tax filings are done through well-known tax platforms, with many filter or filers working with accountants or accounting firms. Increasingly, tax professionals are also targeted by scammers. Cybersecurity experts said you should ask some questions about how the accountant is storing and backing up data, how they are securing it, encrypting the data, and how the office is secured. If you're dropping tax documents in Google Docs or Google Drive or something like that, I would probably question where the storage is. And that's true. I mean, this kind of goes back to third-party or vendor management. I mean, if you're doing business with various different vendors, then you're going to know how they're doing their cybersecurity practices. If they're just storing stuff on some kind of insecure text file on somebody's machine, it's not encrypted or anything. It's storing all kinds of PII or other type of valuable information there. Well, okay, that's a bad practice. You shouldn't be doing that. Make sure the stuff is in some kind of encrypted storage somewhere and it's locked down. Accountants and accounting firms should be asking clients to upload a secure platform or use something like Adobe or Microsoft encrypted file transfer system. And with home offices, more common, don't hesitate to ask tax preparers about how they're securing their home Wi-Fi network or if they use a VPN. And I mean, if you're going to some legitimate organization or company like H&R Block, I mean, for me, if I'm going to use H&R Block, I go down to the office itself and they're doing everything from the office. So I'm not really concerned about if they're doing something funky behind the scenes. You have to be your own champion when it comes to privacy and your security. All right. And of course, follow the same rules if you're at home. Okay. Make sure if you're going to be uploading your tax information somewhere, make sure the connection is encrypted, secure. If you have to log into somewhere to submit some kind of tax forms, use a strong password, etc., etc. All right, let's go take a quick look at the IRS website. And here we are, IRS website. Taxpayers beware, tax season is prime. time for phone scams. With the new tax season starting this week, the IRS reminds taxpayers to be aware that criminals continue to make aggressive calls posing as IRS agents in hopes of stealing taxpayer money or personal information. Here's some telltale signs, blah, blah, blah. It's got them listed out here. IRS will never call to demand immediate payment using a specific payment method such as a prepaid debit card, gift card, or wire transfer. Generally, the IRS will mail a bill to any taxpayer who owes, which I've already explained earlier. They're going to mail you something. Threaten to immediately bring a local police or other law enforcement groups, and I've explained that as well. Demand that taxes be paid out or paid without giving taxpayers opportunity to question or appeal the amount owed. Call unexpectedly about a tax refund. Then it says here, taxpayers who receive these phone calls should record the number, hang up immediately, report it there, and then report the number to phishing@irs.com. And be sure to put IRS phone scam in the subject line. I'm sure it's the same or similar way when it comes to phishing and online scams there. Be sure to check that out as well if you're interested. And we're going to take a look at one more thing here from the IRS. Tax scam slash consumer alerts. As you see, this is pretty much a list of categories of different scams and such that the IRS has released to the public. Be sure to check this out as well. It's got different categories: pandemic related, tax season, charity fraud, identity theft, unemployment benefits, scams related to natural disasters, IRS impersonation, telephone scams, tax transcript, email scams. This is just crazy. These scammers and attackers do not give up. This is their job. 24/7 is to scam and defraud people. So you got to make sure you're staying vigilant out there. Make sure your family and friends are staying vigilant out there as well. Paying attention to these telltale signs of these scams so that you don't get bamboozled into doing something that you shouldn't be doing. All right, if y'all enjoyed this video, information discussed, all that good stuff, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and comment below your thoughts and opinions. As always, thank you all for watching. Have a nice day. See you later.